What's going on, guys? Sorry for the little camera malfunction there. I'm super excited because I have an awesome special guest tonight. I know I say that all the time, but truly, this guy is changing the fitness industry for the adaptive community. He runs a company named ParaPer4mance. His name is Kenneth Keitt, and I'm going to invite him on here in a little bit. So just give us 1 second here and we'll get this thing going. Let's see. I don't think he's on yet. So, oh, there he is. Hope everybody out there is having a good Monday, having a good start to their week. Kenneth, what's up, buddy?
What's going on? I'm hoping that my internet connection is stable enough.
Oh, you're good. So far, man, you came on, the viewership like went way up. Like it must be that GQ look you got going on.
No, man. How you doing today? Happy Monday. How are you?
Doing awesome, man. Doing awesome.
Glad to finally make it here and finally get to sit down with you. We've been planning this for so long. I'm just glad we get to make it.
I've been following you for a long time, and I'm like, you know what? I got to get this guy. I got to get this guy on because we're very like-minded, and I think you have a lot of information that you can give to the people that's going to help them. In fact, I know that to be the case. So, just so we can introduce you a little bit. First and foremost, thank you to you for your service to this country. That's absolutely awesome. Have nothing but respect for anybody that has served because without you guys, I wouldn't be able to live my dream. So thank you for that.
Thank you for the acknowledgement. Appreciate that.
Well, Kenneth is the CEO of a company named ParaPer4mance, and I'll let him get into it a little bit more, but they are literally changing the fitness industry for the adaptive community. So Kenneth, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit of a company overview, and then prior to your accident.
Yeah, sure. So, like you said, I started a company called ParaPer4mance, and actually the name came to me right away because, I was injured. I was paralyzed. So, para and fitness industry and everything with the military performance, it just came naturally. So, I'm a single boy to 7 sisters. I was raised by a single mom in the Bronx, New York. After that, we moved out to Pennsylvania, in the Poconos. A lot of people know it for like the touristy attractions that we have here. After graduating high school, I went straight into the United States Marine Corps. So at age 17, my mother signed my papers. She signed the waiver, and I went off to Parris Island in South Carolina. I've always wanted to be into some kind of service or something like that gave back. So the United States Marine were hardcore, and I wanted to do SWAT. So I mean, the Marines was next up in line. So I went to the Marine Corps, and I did what I wanted to do. So I deployed to Iraq in 2009. I went into Iraq for 7 months. I deployed to 7 months, and then I came back to where I was stationed in California. So I did a deployment. After being in the military about 2 or 3 years, I realized that you can go up and you can get higher in rank, but there's a lot of structure and you can't really use your creativity. And I was actually coming into myself as a young man. So, I mean, I went from not knowing what I wanted to do just to kicking doors down to really finding out who I was as a person and what I wanted to do. So although I have no complaints about the military and the United States Marine Corps, I just realized it wasn't for me. So I wanted to do things outside of the military because the military is really confined. You have your job or your MOS and you stick to that. There's not much you can do outside of that. So after that, I got out the Marine Corps. But with that, I had some problems. I'm going to be fully transparent.
Yep.
A lot of PTSD, depression, anger. So, I mean, I picked up drinking. So I started drinking and doing all those things like that. So, it took me a lot of therapy that I need to do. So, I was back and forth in therapy. So when I got out, I came back home to Pennsylvania. So I came here, and like anyone, when you come home, you're excited to see everyone. You want to say hi to everybody, but I guess I just wasn't ready to drive and do everything I did. I ended up falling asleep at the wheel. So I fell asleep at the wheel. I didn't have a seatbelt on. I had the car in cruise control. So I had the car in cruise control. I had the heat on. I had a very comfortable setting. I ended up nodding off for maybe a split second, and I went through my sunroof, actually. So I rolled my car 7 times, and I was ejected through the sunroof.
Wow,
So
that's crazy.
yeah, I flew 700 feet. The car's in my profile, and I ended up breaking my back in 3 spots. So I mean, this was like literally after I came back home from Iraq. So I survived combat. I did all that to come back home to get paralyzed. But in all that I say, I realized ways where I could have prevented it or been smarter. But I feel like everything's in God's plan because,
Yeah.
like I said, I took the accident pretty well. At first, I was in denial, and I was thinking that this was something like a broken leg or a broken hip. I didn't know too much about spinal cord injury, so it's like it's crazy. Now that we're in it, we're like doctors times 10.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
before that, I knew nothing about spinal cord, and I was used to being a Marine, and Marines always bounce back from everything. So
Yep.
I thought the doctor's trying to tell me that I'm paralyzed, and I'm telling him, I'll be fine. And he's like, all right, you're gonna wake up. And so yeah, after like 2 weeks, I realized that I was really paralyzed, and that's when it kind of set on me.
So you hit on it a little bit there, but you fell into a depression. Was that after your spinal cord injury, or did you fall deeper into a depression, or how did that play out?
So yeah, after I realized that I was paralyzed, yeah, it kind of woke me up. It wasn't really paralyzed. I didn't really have any feeling. I didn't have any feeling mentally. So
Okay.
yeah, because I just was so confused about this new life. I was confused. And then I guess while in rehab, I still was kind of confused. I was going through the motions. I was actually very motivated. So I've always been very physically active. And what I learned in rehab is, all right, this is a crazy story. So I was in there with like I went to McGee in Philadelphia. It's an amazing rehab hospital. But what I realized is that the CNAs, they weren't that great. So I needed to be dressed, bathed, teeth brushed, everything. They had to do everything for me. As a young man at 22 years old, that was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And what I realized is that, like me just gaining strength, that equals independence. I was able to grab the railings of the bed, and I was able to pull myself up and feed myself when my tray came. Because every day for like the first 2 weeks, I would have to wait for a nurse to come and pick me up to feed me. So it was like that was when I started really, really connecting the dots and things like that.
So is that when your mind shifted and you all of a sudden went from, oh man, I got this spinal cord injury, to wait, I'm not going to let this thing define me.
Correct.
In fact, I want to take it and use that as a tool.
Correct.
So is that when all the mind shift started?
My mind shift started, yes, in rehab, when I realized that I had power over this disability, this life-changing incident. I realized that there's something that I could do to be able to help the situation out. It wasn't all up to science, to God, to doctors, to nurses, or anything like that. I figured that my own discipline, strength, mental strength, physical strength can help, my future. Because I was expecting a son too. My son, I think, yeah, she was 3 months or 4 months pregnant at the time. So, I mean, I was taking that on too. And I was like, as a man, you want to be a provider and a protector. And I was very scared to bring a child into this world like this because I couldn't even take care of myself.
I love that answer, man. So what is ParaPer4mance for the people out there that haven't followed you and haven't seen what it is?
Yes.
Just give them a brief overview of what
Yeah.
what
So like I said, after I got out of rehab, I was very interested in getting into rehab into the gym. So when I got home, I went to the first gym and I sat with a personal trainer. And when I came in, everyone was looking at me. And I sat down with the trainer. I told him what I wanted to do. And he told me that he wouldn't be able to help me. So he told me that although he would love to, he said, I don't think I'm qualified to help you train. So right after that, I went home and I started doing research online, and I couldn't find anything to help me work out as far as like someone to follow or who to reach out to, like a program. They had like the Project Walks and all those other places, but I meant like a gym where I can solely focus on gaining strength and doing things like that. So that was when my wheels started turning. So then I started just to do things for myself, and make little videos on like Instagram and stuff like that, just personally by myself. And then I realized there was a need for that. So ParaPer4mance is a company that I created. I'm a PSU alumni. I went to Penn State through a business incubator. So I created this program, And our tagline is making fitness adaptive, because when you think about fitness, it's not adaptive. When you think about fitness, you think about jumping, long runs and things like that. But with someone with mobility impairments, fitness is different to that. So, I mean, we have mental fitness. We have all the different levels of fitness that we have. So what we wanted to do is focus on creating structured fitness products for people like us that have mobility impairment. So it started with our website, www.paraperformance.com, where we have our first program that I gave you the user access to. And I realized what helped me become independent was a strong core. So like as anyone with a mobility impairment, and anyone in general, your strength comes from your core. So I wanted to beat that down, and like as much as I could, that your core is everything. Your transfer to the shower, to the car, to anything you want to do, that your core is going to give you that independence.
It's so important, and I didn't realize that until I got into fitness. And they're like, okay, we're gonna work on your core. And like before I got into fitness, I knew nothing about it. So I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna get a six pack. But I didn't realize that your core is literally your whole stabilizing muscles, everything. So, I mean, if people want to check it out, where can they do that?
Yeah, so you could go on www.paraperformance.com. We're Paraperformance on everything. So we're YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. So currently right now we're working on a mega app right now. So the website was my idea of validating the concern of something more for our community. So with that, we're building ParaPerformance Go. So ParaPerformance Go is a mobile app, and we plan to service everyone from a caretaker to an individual with a disability and an individual with mobility impairments. And from there, we'll have like boxing, meditation, a lot of mindfulness programs too as well. We're gonna take it, everything that we're doing now, we're gonna 10x it and make it better. And my goal is to make it easily accessible for anyone. So, I mean, we're going to have a freemium version. So we'll have a free version. We'll have a monetized version where you can have all access to everything. And our goal is like to build, a healthy community around everything that we're doing. So we want to partner with hospitals and rehabs to bring everything together and just increase quality of life for everyone.
I absolutely love that idea. Now, like, let's say somebody's watching, they're newly injured, or they have a disability that I was basically almost born with. I was diagnosed at like 2.5, and before I got into fitness, like I said before, I knew nothing about it. So I was very intimidated by the gym. So let's say there's somebody out there and they're saying, okay, this is great, you guys are into fitness, you guys do this, but I can't go in a gym, or like, I just don't have what it takes. What advice would you give those people?
So what I learned, and because, obviously I've been doing pitches, I speak about this all the time. And that's the number one thing that I run into. I run into people who count themselves out first, whether it be a doctor or a PT or someone told them that. So when you look at me, you could say, oh, I have the muscles and all that. But when you think about health and quality of life, it's bigger than the muscles and everything like that. Quality of life is living longer, keeping better integrity of your skin. I mean, because, protein and all that, like that all matters in health. Being able to push yourself and do things and have independence. As a wheelchair user, our independence is everything. That's just everything for you. Even me, like when certain days when I don't feel well or when I'm sick and I lose my independence, mentally it messes with me. So like the story that I said is, there was somebody, I'm a T6, 7, 8 a complete. So I'm basically a high para. Well, a high para. And there was another high para like myself, and he was saying, you know what, I love the idea, but I could never do something like that without even trying it. So what he did was the core performance program that we have on the website, I told him to jump in with us to do it. And he was able to complete the whole 30-minute exercise. So mentally, he counted himself out before he even attempted something like that. So that's the number one thing that I run into is people, they either unmotivated or uninterested to push themselves. And that's why I think it's important to offer other resources as well that we are going to do through the app, because a lot of times it's just a mindset change. Like I said, it's all in your mind.
It's a mind game.
Yeah, the last live that I was on Garrison Reed, we talk about, dating and stuff like that. A lot of people count themselves out before they even give it a try. They think that they're not a qualified candidate. And it's like, some women look at you before they would look at someone else because of just how you present yourself. If you can be confident in a wheelchair and carry yourself and do great things in a wheelchair, that's an extremely attractive trait. And like this is research that we have done. So like what I try to do is tell people that, you know, it's one of those things where I already know you're going to tell me, no, I don't want this, I don't want that. But my job is to show you that this is not something bad, and this is something that can improve quality of life for you.
You can use it as a tool. And as far as like the dating scene goes, I mean, one pitch that you can make is like, we come with front row parking. I mean, does it get much better than that? So
yeah, I mean, you're like, like we said, you're already in a wheelchair, you already stand out. So why not fine tune things? And it's like, if you're gonna speak to someone and talk to someone, there's no way around it. So why not use what you can and learn to take advantage of the things that you can't, you know, this is your life. Like, this is your new normal, and just find the best of it. So like I said, not everyone wants to be a bodybuilder, and we're okay with that. Our job is to bring quality of life and different fitness avenues for everyone. So like I said, we want to do self-defense from the wheelchair. We want to teach people how to protect themselves, even at the lowest levels. So we want to teach you how to protect if someone tries to push you out your chair or take you out of your chair while you're getting in the car. Certain wrist locks, like those are programs that we want to offer in our subscription model. Boxing, you know, breathing exercises, meditation, strength building exercises, and the list could go on and on. So yeah,
that's awesome, man. Like I'm super excited. You know, just as you're talking, I'm getting amped up here.
Yeah.
Like, because you've never really seen anything like this before.
Correct.
And you know, I think it's the fear of the unknown.
Correct.
Like why so many companies or individuals haven't touched it. It's just because they don't want to offend.
Yeah.
They don't know how to necessarily go about it. So it's great to see somebody kind of step up to the plate and be like, you know what, I'm going to take this on.
And and that's interesting you brought that up, because it's sensitive. And I don't think a company could have taken it on unless they were in the situation like myself. You can't provide a product to someone who you don't really know what their daily life is. And it's like, that's why I get the upper hand, because I'm in it with just like everyone else. The same problems most people have, I have the same exact problems. I'm so relatable. So it's like, your problems are my problems. Your body problems are my body problems. Your healthcare problems are my healthcare problems. So it's like, you know, if I could be the voice to many, then I win. And that's why I took this on. And it is a really big challenge, because a lot of people are, you know, they turn the blind side to the community. But I tell them, you know, this is an untapped demographic, and you're really counting out of people who are amazing people. And it's like, we try to highlight as many people as possible. And that's our goal now, is even when we go forward, there's so many big brands that we could collaborate and connect people with, because there's amazing people doing amazing things. And it's just like, everyone really just overlooks them just because that was the normal. But, you know, like we said, this is 2020, and we want to bring a different vision to that.
I absolutely love that, man. And like the thing is, for me, like, I got introduced to parasports through Spartan, and I took part in their first ever Para Spartan race a few years back. Mm-hmm. And this was like my first time at a real like para event. And oh my God, when I tell you, like, it was a Tony Robbins conference.
Wait, where is this?
This was the first ever Para Spartan race in Lofton, Nevada. And I had never been before, but I was asked to go. And I was like, yeah, you know, sure, I'll go. And it was all adaptive people. And I mean, I'm talking about amputees, people with CP, people with spinal cord injuries, the whole 9 yards. And I've never been around so much energy in my life. I wanted to run through a wall. It was amazing. But you kind of hit on it a little bit there. But who is this program designed for? You know, people with spinal cord injuries, CP.
Yeah, so we're designing the program for everyone. So we have 3 categories. I don't know if we're going to stick with it. One is called no mobility, and that's someone like myself who's a para. I'm complete. I don't have any mobility down the waist. We have limited mobility, so that's anyone with a hip replacement, or incomplete, someone who has. Are you limited mobility?
Yeah.
So you would fall under limited mobility. And then we have assisted mobility. That's anyone who needs assistance on day-to-day things. That's someone who's like a quad, or someone who has who needs extra assistance with different things. So we cater the programs to 3 different ways. And when you join the app, there's an algorithm that filters out different things to show you what would you suggest to have as far as like exercises or things like that. So,
now if people sign up for the app, are you going to push them like a daily workout, a weekly workout,
I mean, well,
suggestions?
they'll have access to databases, but we'll suggest certain things to them. And,
Okay.
you know, the more they use it, like we said, we'll have PowerPoints. So we're finding out interesting ways to do it. We'll have like an affiliate store. So any kind of the products that we use in videos, certain grips, certain bars, we'll have there. And then we're trying to figure out a cool reward system. So when you hit different milestones, when you hit different points, we want to offer like products and incentives and things like that. So we have a really good growth strategy that we want to do. I can't really talk about it now, but when we launch the app, we have we want to team up with a couple nonprofits, but we're going to do a huge giveaway. And it's going to be amazing. I can't talk about what the prizes are, but we're going to team up with a couple nonprofits, and we're going to do tons of giveaways for everybody. Just like a sweepstakes. So like when you join the app, you know, one of them I could say is one of the giveaways that we'll be doing is like a full expenses paid vacation with a companion and a caretaker. So we're going to cover that to a country for a couple of days, and that's the top package. And then from down, we have other packages that we want to do. So
let's go. Just so you know, I'm in the process of making Handicapable Fitness into a nonprofit. I'm just throwing that out there.
All right. You are. What are you structured as right now?
I just kind of started it on my own, and then one thing led to another, and I've kind of raised money just through my own network, and I help people, you know, just here and there. And I'm going through all the paperwork right now to get the official nonprofit status going and all that. And then I want to go around the country, do motivational speaking. I've already done that a little bit, you know, because it's kind of funny that I'm talking to you now, because my goal, or one of my goals with Handicapable Fitness, is to connect people with qualified fitness professionals that can help them get fit and active in whatever way that is for them, whether it's physical therapy, you know, having them work with a personal trainer, you know, the mental side of it.
Yeah.
I want to use Handicapable Fitness to help them pay for like sports if they want to get involved, you know, whatever the case may be. So that's the overall big picture. We're doing all the paperwork now, so our fingers crossed, everything will be good to go soon.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, see, no, you can continue.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, see, I said our goal is to partner with, you know, just like I said, a couple nonprofits, because obviously, you know, like the business structure, the way things are set up, when we deal with nonprofits, we can reach a bigger audience when we do it like that. So that's why. And like we said, there's a lot of you guys doing great things. So that's why we want to make sure that we allocate it. And like I said, that's a partnership. And when we go do those events, we could host an event and then have you guys as micro sponsors and stuff like that. That's my goal with everything, even being a sponsor for the Paralympics. But it's like, you know, right now, if you go to the website, we have influencers. But like I said, there's so much lack in this industry. I feel like, you know, once we change the perspective of, you know, the big brands and everyone else who looks over us. And like you see it a lot now. You see commercials picking up individuals with Down syndrome.
Yeah, man. It's coming on big.
Quadriplegia and things like that. So it's like, it's just around. And what has happened with the COVID incident, you see everyone went online. So, I mean, this is something that we've been working on for like 3 years. And it's like now everybody was like forced to adapt. And it's like, this is something that we've been doing. So we're kind of above the curve just because we have so much research into this. So it's like now, like, you know, people are just trying to learn how to do certain business models and certain algorithms, but that we already have it figured out.
You guys have already been doing it.
Yeah.
So that kind of feeds into my next question. Like, it's not all like cupcakes and roses starting a company and glamour. So what keeps you motivated?
I mean, this is probably the hardest. I've been to Iraq. I mean, I've been paralyzed. Starting a business and a company is probably the hardest thing I've ever attempted to do in my life. It's the most rewarding. And like I said, monetarily, I don't know. For me, the money or whatever, you know, because it's not like we're making tons of money. And even when we will make tons of money, that's not the best things. It's hearing the testimonies. One of the testimonies was one of our customers. She had problems with constipation. She couldn't use the bathroom. After using the product for like 90 days, she was able to relieve constipation and use the bathroom. And she sent me a message saying that she pooped and used the bathroom. I mean, like, to me, that was like probably the best feeling. Another one was a gentleman. He had confidence issues. Like I said, he was doing our exercise program at home. He got the confidence to, because like I said, we only had one program on the website. So he got strong enough and confident to go to a local gym. He got to the local gym. He couldn't reach a certain weight. He ended up asking a young lady to help him out. He ended up scoring a date. He hasn't been on a date in 10
Let's
years.
go. Let's
So
go.
these are the kind of testimonies that I get. And it's like, I mean, that's just one in itself. And it's so crazy that somebody, you know, that you are have involvement with this. Like I said, we have sales in Belgium, the UK, Germany, certain things like that. So we are global. And my thing is just to keep going with it. Like, what keeps me motivated, like I said, are the testimonies and just the, like you said, the uncertainty. This is something that's never been done. And I'm already too far into it. And I want to make all the people who overlooked on us, and I just want them to realize that they made a big mistake.
Yeah,
Because we're a force.
heck yeah, man.
We're over 18 million strong. I mean, we're way bigger than that. But I mean, limited mobility impairments is around 18.5 million strong and growing. So
Heck yeah, man. I absolutely love that, and I couldn't agree more. I mean,
yeah.
I get messages through Handicap4Fitness all the time, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like one was from a veteran, and it's the first message that I ever got that had really an impactful meaning to me. And he goes, I've been following your page, and I've seen what you're doing. And he goes, you know what? Like, I was in the Army. It was my lifelong goal to make that my career. And he goes, I had to leave for whatever reason. And he goes, I fell into a depression, was gonna commit suicide. He goes, I just happened to open up Instagram and see one of your posts. And he goes, I can honestly say, between my girlfriend and you two are the only thing that kept me alive. Like,
Wow.
how do you respond to something like that? To me,
It's
thank you
embarrassing.
like isn't enough. Like, it's like, wow, you
Yeah,
know.
no,
So
I love the daily gratitude post that you do. I mean, every time you post it, it's never the same. It's always organic. I love that you do that. I feel like I feel like there's something more to like that you do. I mean, that you have to tag signature that, because every time I open up Instagram and I see your gratitude posts, I always know. So it's like, if I ever don't see them, or if you fall off, I'm gonna notice it, because it's
you,
always so organic. You always saying, all right, this is why I'm happy. You always say whatever's going on. It's not even like it's something that's automated. Like, you really take out the time to figure out why you're happy, and then you share it with the world. I think that's big. That's
man,
huge.
and I have to say, you do hold me accountable for that. Even though you've never called me out on it,
Yeah.
since you said I'm watching that, I'm like, okay, I got somebody watching and actually paying attention, so I got to do it. And I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I really gotta like dig deep. Like, sometimes I feel like something's like a stupid reason, like, oh, I took a nap today, but literally that was the only thing I could come up with that day that I was grateful. But I want to be genuine with it, because not every day is gonna be, you know, walking through the dandelions. You know, there's gonna be struggles, and that's one thing I try to promote with Handicap4Fitness and just social media in general.
Right.
You know, it's a highlight reel typically, and what I want to do is I want to, you know, let people know, like, hey, I have struggles just like you do.
Correct.
Like, you know, so.
And that's one of the things, not to cut you off. So not in round one version of the app, but after round one version, we're going to be adding tons of features. But that's one of the features that we want to put. We have something called an adaptive wellness calculator, and then there is a mood tracker. So throughout the weeks or whatever, like whether you're doing fitness or you're just in there for the forum, or, you know, building community, because we have like a workout partner locator. So say you went to a new city and you have the ParaPer4mance app, you can actually go in the app and you can see who's allowing you to see their locations, general locations, and you can connect with them to either work out or to hang out. And I think that's huge, because a lot of people,
that's huge.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know anyone in wheelchairs. So it's like, you know, if I can go to a new city and I travel a lot and I'm just at the airport alone, I can find someone in a wheelchair and say, hey, do lunch or do something like that. So, you know, it's like right now we're calling it workout partner, but yeah, we'll figure out a better name. But we have a mood tracker. So if you hit like your mood is low a certain amount of times, we'll suggest a mindfulness program, whether it be meditation or like affirmations or something like that. So there are ways we're trying to subtly push people in that direction without like medicine, because we're not doctors.
Yeah.
But we have real life behavioral coaches helping us out with everything that we're doing.
That's so awesome, man. And that kind of leads me into my next question. You know, all of us are going through this quarantine right now. We're kind of locked down in our homes. You know, people are losing their jobs. People are losing their lives. So, like, what advice would you give people to keep up, to stay motivated, to really see on the bright side during such a dark and scary time?
Well, one, I could tell them that, you know, the end is near. And myself, like, you know, I'm probably one of the most positive people, you know, but I've had some down times. I mean, like a couple of days ago, last week, for being fully transparent, I was at one of the lowest points last week. And it was just because, you know, as humans, we're meant to interact with people. We're meant to touch. So right now we have social distancing, 6 feet apart. You know, we're locked into our houses. That's not natural for humans. And for me, I'm always on the go. So it's like my gym was taken away. You know, social distancing is in place. Everything's shut down. So it's like at one point, and I'm still in business. So it's like, you know, things like that pile up. And if somebody like myself, who's normally always positive, feels like that, I could imagine the people who struggle. So what I would say is, like, you got to learn, you know, things that help keep you at a high place, like that raise your vibration. And that is like watching motivational videos, you know, getting on the phone and talking to someone. Like, I think that's huge. When I felt like that, I went down the list. I started calling people,
Yep.
calling people. Like, this is how I feel. And like me, I used to have a lot of ego, but now I'm to the point where, you know, ego's not going to save you or do anything like that. Like, you need to really express how you feel. And especially as a man, sometimes we think, oh, I want to be macho and hold it in. But, you know, you could call your bro or somebody like that and be like, you know what, I'm feeling like this. And
Yeah.
that could be yeah, that could change your life. Like, things like that. Like, I started journaling. You know, I started another passion project of mine that I'm doing. So it's like, you just need to find something to distract you from what's really going on. And it's like, you need to find something that you actually like to do, because then it won't be like work and you won't be forcing yourself to do it. And it doesn't have to be something that, like, starting a business or something like that. It could be writing a book, putting together a collage, helping your
Art.
grandmother sew, cut the grass, cut down a tree. Like, find something to do consecutively where you can measure the goal, and that'll keep you distracted.
You know, and I love what one particular thing that you said there is, reach out to people, because
Mm-hmm.
you know, so many people think, oh, if I ask for help, or if I tell somebody, hey, you know what, I'm struggling today, or I've been struggling this week, that makes me look weak. And
Mm-hmm.
no, it doesn't. In fact, in my opinion, it makes you stronger, because you have the wherewithal within yourself to know, hey, I'm struggling and I need help right now, so let me go somewhere and get that.
Yep. And I feel like we need to be more vocal, and that's what I try to do now. Because when I first started, I was positive, and I am always positive. But they were like, Kenneth, you need to also tell people that you have down days and you're down. You have down periods. You have depression. I've had a story. This is new to me. Like, this whole life that I'm living now was only about 3.5 years old. I mean, I struggled with a lot of things that weren't great, but it just took me getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. I wasn't always proud to be in a wheelchair. I wasn't always motivated. I didn't always get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So, I mean, like, a lot of this was new, but this is one day at a time. And the one day at a time. That's how it starts. Like, that's why I said my job is to convince people who count themselves out, who don't think they can do something that, you know, that anyone else is doing it, and show them that they can't. Like, no one's saying that you need to be Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan or, you know, a president, but you can be a lot better than what you are. 95% of people underperform under their maximum level. Most people underperform. So if you have somebody in your life who's just giving you a nudge every so forth and so in, that's a positive thing. And whether it be me through an app, or me through social media, or you through social media, you through an app, I think it's very important to have that person and to surround yourself to that person.
Absolutely, man. So if you could have dinner with two people, dead or alive, like who would they be, and why?
Uh, Good question. Jeff Bezos, one, because I don't know, he's just inspiring to me. I love reading up on, like, people who are successful. I do a lot of research. I was not a good student in college. I went to Penn State, struggled all the way through Penn State. I focused on building relationships. That's what my thing was. I built so many relationships, and that's where I got. So, but academically, I struggled. Jeff Bezos, because he's inspiring. He started where I started with nothing, bootstrapped the entire company. He was able to grow it. And the second person I would say is dinner. Uh, David Goggins.
Oh, Goggins. What?
David
Oh,
Goggins. Yeah.
that guy. That
Yeah.
guy. He's my man crush. Like,
Yeah.
I swear. I've read that book like 2 different times
Uh-huh.
now, and I just
Yeah.
started it a third time. Like it's crazy. That guy is
Mhm.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on both of those actually. Because you know what,
Yeah.
Bezos can invest in the company. So
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, and that's what you say. You know, you surround yourself with people like that. But and I like David Goggins. Obviously, he's a veteran, but I think that mindset is important. And a lot, you know, I guess the proper way they don't accept it. They don't accept the cursing and the hard lifestyle. But for me, being a Marine, in the Marine Corps, that's the only way that works. Like I want to go to combat with somebody who's tough, someone who's not going to break, someone who, when we're getting shot at, he's not going to hide. He's going to shoot back.
yeah.
And that's just the way I was trained as a Marine, and that's just the way I live my life. And I understand you can't approach everyone like that. And that's what I also had to relearn too with this whole journey is I can't treat you know, my customers and everyone like how my mindset is. My mindset is I have to do it regardless. I have no other options but to get the work done and to do it. And I realized that my approach will not work for everyone.
And you know what, that's okay, but you were put here for a reason, and
Mm-hmm.
you're going to connect with the people that you were meant to connect with, you know.
Correct.
And that's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
So is there any other tips? Only two more questions. Is there any other tips that, or any sort of gems of wisdom, because you have a lot of it, I see it on the daily, that you want to give people?
I just think that I feel like the SCI community should connect more. Uh, um, and should connect more. And I mean, I hope that through us, I can connect the fitness component. But I just hope that we can connect more and get together more because I think it's important. And when you have someone who's been through what you've been through, it's like a brotherhood. I've been to the Marine Corps. The friends that I went to combat with, we'll be friends forever. We cannot talk for months and months on end. We pick up the phone. It's like we're talking from we talk all week. It's like speaking to you right now. It's so comfortable. It's so transparent. This is something that is just that mutual understanding. So I mean, I hope that in later years that we figure out a way to connect more or more often, or we have something put in place where we have an opportunity to and for the people who financially can't or who can't physically, we either do it help with digitally or we have programs in place to make that happen for those individuals.
Have you heard of the Adaptive Training Foundation down in Texas?
I have. It's amazing.
I'm actually going there in November to take part in the program and to do that whole thing. But
I would
when you
love
were
to do
talking
it.
about when you were
I would love
talking
to.
about that, oh, let's go, man. Let's take that by storm. And then,
Yeah, you have
and
to
then
tell me
after
how you have to tell me about the registration process. My friend just went through it last year. What is it? 8 weeks?
8 or 9 weeks, yeah.
Okay.
Who's your
Yeah.
who's your friend by chance?
Dylan.
Name sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
Vaguely familiar. I know a
Yeah.
few people that have gone down there and done it, and they're like, James, this is absolutely awesome. You have to do this. Like,
Yeah.
so
How
so
long
in
was
November,
the waiting process and all that, like the approval process for it?
um, I think it took like 3 or 4 weeks. Like the first time, the first time I applied, I was denied because I didn't realize that first, because they do. I think it's 2 classes a year, and one class is strictly just for veterans and uh, first responders and that sort of thing, and
Okay.
then the other one is for just people that have been injured or anything like that. And I'm doing that in November. Um,
Um,
so I'll definitely send you that information. But
yeah.
but afterwards we have to do a Spartan race.
Oh yeah,
That
for sure.
that's
Yeah.
that's the only requirement. You got to get out there
Mhm.
and do a Spartan race.
What's the time frame on your 501c? Do you have like a projected timeline when
Well,
you
I,
think
I
that?
have I have all the paperwork is being sent to the lawyers, um and then with the corona stuff, all that stuff got put on hold because everything shut down. So it's basically on them once everything starts back up. They're going to send it to the IRS and then get things rolling that way. So everything's out of my control. Now I'm just waiting on them. So
well, if you need a board member, I'll take.
All right, definitely, I got you.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll make it happen. We'll change the world.
Yeah, yeah.
So to end this, again, I just want to reiterate: how can people find you, connect with you personally, if they like what they heard, if they want to know more? How can they find you?
So, thank you guys for having me. Everyone who came in and left, everyone who stayed, it was wonderful. I'm actually getting very comfortable with the lives. I stayed away from them for a long time. You can find me personally at Kenneth Keitt. I think my name is at the top. If you hit that icon up top, you can hit that and follow. It's KENNETH KEITT. That's on Instagram. That's on Facebook. And ParaPerformance is YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. That's PARAPER, the number 4, MANCE. So that'll be there. And, I guess he could probably share the link too as well, make it easier for you guys. And we're coming into a period where we are looking to take things up a notch after this is done. So, I mean, our YouTube videos, we're going to have tons of free content on fitness and all those other components. So right now, we're pretty much taking it easy. But you could expect the next 6 months, everything to be every other day, intense videos, testimonies, and things like that. So stay tuned, and I appreciate you all.
That's awesome, man. And anything you need from me on my end, you just let me know. You just say the word, and I got you. And just so you know, and just so the people know, I plan to save this to my phone and then upload it to the Handicapable Fitness YouTube channel. I'll be sure to share that link with you so you can spread it wherever and we can get the word out. But I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a busy guy. So, again, I value your time.
Hey, I enjoyed this a lot. We had a great conversation, and I can't wait to see where we intersect next time. So definitely.
We'll have to do it again.
Keep up with the lives, too. I mean, the lives that you've been doing have been consistent. Even when life goes back to normal, you should still try to jump on live as much as you can. And like I said, we realized that we want to step it up, and we got to make sure that we keep that momentum going. I know you do a lot of it by yourself, but you're doing great things over there.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I truly appreciate it. Thanks for all the love, the support. Really means a lot. And thank you once again for your service. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
Take care, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.